Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance is an offshoot of Hideo Kojima's ever-popular Metal Gear Solid series. The plan was clear: take the isn't he cool star of Metal Gear Solid 2, Raiden, and make a game about his life as a kick-ass cyber ninja. Then, somewhere along the line, Kojima Productions began to struggle. After years in development, the project was finally handed over to action game powerhouse Platinum Games. Of everything in Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance, the story is the one part that still feels distinctly Kojima, with lengthy monologuing that would make even a Bond villain check their watch, and over-the-top action still in full effect. Revengeance tells the story of Raiden and his battle against a PMC group known as Desperado. Beginning with some delicate bodywork, complete with Cuban heels, the story quickly upgrades the young soldier to an unstoppable man-blender. Starting in an African state, Raiden and his PMC army are training the country's security force, work that has helped stabilise the volatile area. During a meeting with the country's Prime Minister, the leader is abducted from under Raiden's nose by the rival PMC group Desperado. Raiden heads out after the captured Prime Minister, only to be defeated by Samuel Rodriguez. Barely surviving the battle, Raiden gets a new cybernetic body before exacting his revenge on Desperado and their plans. Unlike most Metal Gear Solid titles, there is little or no wiggle room on the virtues of outright war profiteering. Thus, the morally grey areas and sympathies that Kojima usually manages to evoke are lost due to the sheer unpleasantness of the antagonist's actions. There was probably an equation somewhere when development started that simply stated badass sword plus X equals awesome, but that left X, and X had to be enough to carry the rest of the game. After years stuck in development, Platinum Games finally got Kojima drunk and told him that they could deliver X. And they did. Within 10 minutes of starting, you are controlling Raiden as he cuts down PMCs in a Metal Gear with his robot bear, hands. Given the sheer effort such a feat used to take Solid Snake, this sets a real precedent for the upcoming bombastic tone. The game's blade mode, that allows Raiden to slice through all manner of enemies and objects at any angles he pleases, requires energy to use. Energy that is only recharged through combat. To help keep the action set pieces flowing, there is Raiden's ninja run, sliding, vaulting, climbing, and even jumping between missiles simply by holding down a button. Platinum fans may well see Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance as a simplification of the studio's usual complex mechanics. And they would have a point. With this stripped back 2-button combat mechanic and simple parry system, this is no Bayonetta. But it more than makes up for this by thrusting you into wonderful set pieces and boss fights. Sliding down the side of a building sword in hand to cleave a towering robot in two finally allows you to control the excitement of the Raiden scenes from Metal Gear Solid 4. The constant high frame rate is not without its costs, most notable of which is the time bodies and other items can remain in the world once sliced. Memory is clearly a concern here, yet it's a shame that after reducing an opponent to bite-sized chunks, there is never any time to appreciate Raiden's handiwork. That is, if you see any of the action at all, as the camera regularly makes Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance impossible to follow. While Kojima's action set pieces inject Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance with speed, his influence over the game's dialogue regularly slows the action to a crawl, with cutscenes and radio messages regularly lasting longer than the combat areas they bookend. Considering its development, it's a surprise how close Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance comes to its original promise. Whatever state the game was in when it reached Platinum, they took all the elements that were there and glued them all expertly into place. And if they found a piece missing, they filled it perfectly. It's a superb action game that shows the best of both Kojima and Platinum. Tune in again soon for more reviews, and remember to visit playdevil.com for all of your gaming news.